Hello everyone, Mark with Grimtastic Baits. I have ordered a winged walker cicada through Tackle Warehouse that actually a couple of them that keep getting pushed off, back ordered and everything. So I finally decided, you know what? The cicadas are hatching. This is mainly for Indiana, not so much for us here in Ohio. We've already had our hatch, but I remember watching how those fish just devoured the cicadas on the surface. And I want a cicada lure. So instead of waiting around, I decided to pick a couple of these up from Barlow's Tackle. I waited a long time for these two. They're finally back in stock. I don't know how long they will be, but 2.5-inch winged topwater. So basically a walker bait. You've probably all seen these. These are kind of old school, but I want to try my hand, and I'm very amateurish at painting. Don't get me wrong. I want to try my hand at making a cicada paint job. So I'm going to use this as my basis for it. Kind of like the lines of it and how it looks. So first thing I'm going to do is I got to get these wings off to paint. And it looks like they're just screwed in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew those, take the wings off, and then I'm going to use some small metal pins to hopefully plug those holes so that during painting I'm not painting over the holes, because these will be threaded, I'm sure. And I don't want to get paint or clear coat or anything in those threads, making it a pain to get the wings back on. So I'm going to do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, so got it in the helping hands. I've rubbed it down with denatured alcohol or isopropyl alcohol so I can get all the fingerprints and grease stuff off it. Gonna start with a simple opaque white for the coating. And this will be the first time I've used my airbrush since putting the new parts in. Yoo-hoo! See how she works. She's splattering a bit. Let me bump the pressure up. There we go. All right, there we got a nice even coat of opaque white for our base. So I am making this up as I go, and yes, actually, you'll see I actually moved the lens out a little bit more because I was having trouble keeping it in frame while spraying that base white. So next up, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying, but I'm going to try the fluorescent yellow. And I'm going to coat the whole thing with that, and you're going to think, that's not what a cicada looks like. Hopefully my plan comes together. So, without further ado, by the way, I really do pity you all in Indiana, especially if you're in those special parks this year that get all those cicadas. You're not going to be able to sleep at night. Unless you're one of those people that eats cicadas. People say they're delicious, but I'm not going to try them. Tyson's going to be having us do that soon enough with crickets. Not this dog, though. I am not eating Tyson. Keep your crickets. and I am not a professional airbrusher by any means. So if I'm doing something different than a pro would, I'll take all the tips in the world. I do watch a lot of guys airbrushing. I don't want to make it sound like anything weird. I watch a lot of guys. Creepy. Anyway, I'm gonna heat set that, maybe give it another coat, and I'll be back with you on the next step. All right, next part is gonna make or break this bait. I am going to use this stuff. Picked it up at Hobby Lobby. I use it very sparingly because it's like 11 bucks for this little thing called Resist Pin. Artists use it in their paintings or whatnot. I don't know. I'm not artsy fartsy, but what you can do is it's like a masking. So you can put it down, and when it dries, it peels right back off. So in order to get the thorax area that has all these really cool different colors and such to it, the only way I can come up with, besides using a stencil or something I'm not very talented with, is to actually create those lines using this. And it's not going to be perfect, but neither is nature. So I just want to make what would appear to be thin lines. That one's a little thick. And I'm just going to do that a few times over with my shaky coffee hands. Because I counted it up, and I'll put a picture up here, hopefully, of their thoraxes and their undersides, and the fact that they've got these 5 distinguishing stripes. So that is what I am going to do. And then I'll get back to you when it's dried and on to the next part of the spray. Okie dokie. So, as you can see, it's basically a latex. So, for the most part, it is pretty dry. So, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to apply a real light orange over the top of this. I'm just feathering the brush. I'm starting the air first, and then I'm just pushing down real lightly to get that paint to come out. Because I don't want to oversaturate this. Or maybe I do. I don't know. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it just like that. I don't have it coated all the way through. But there's a rhyme. Damn it. Yes, there. But there's a rhyme and a reason to this. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to heat shrink. Wow, I was thinking I was making lead again. I use heat shrink around the eyes of the lead eye hooks. So anyway, I'm going to heat set that. And then I'm going to come back again, and I'm going to apply just on the other side of where I already have that latex laid down. I'm going to lay down another line, and then I'm going to go over it real thin with a light layer of black. While I have the black in the brush, I'm probably going to hit the rest of these areas with a stencil, and I'll show you where we're going from there. Okie dokie, smokies. Next, we're going to do the transparent black. As you can see, I've already gone and put that extra ring around the orange. So we will check our pressure. Seems good. And before I do that, I am going to model the top up a little bit. I thought this stencil looked kind of cool, maybe. A little bit of this. Okay, so I didn't predict that happening. The latex stuck extremely well to the stencil. Did not think that was going to happen, but it did. All right. I'll do the sides. I'll do a little bit on the sides. Kind of like that. That's a really nice little stencil. That's another one that I happen to pick up at Barlow's. I'm spending more and more money with them these days. Okay, and I'm going to darken up the eye area just a little bit. Do that on the other side. Again, I am not a professional. So I'm going to angle the airbrush and the bait this way because I don't want overspray up in this area. And I don't want this very dark either. But I do want it distinguishable as being different. Oh no, look. When I pulled the stencil away, I started pulling some of that latex off. Well, luckily, that's going to be the next step once this black dries. You know what? I'll put a little stenciling on the bottom too, if I can get away with it here. Yeah, I like that. That'll work. All right. Once that dries, we are going to peel away I'll heat set that, and I'm going to peel away those rings and show you what my next step is. I know this seems weird. It's going to look, you're thinking it's going to look like a bumblebee, but it's not, I promise you. I think. All right, so I do not want to touch this and get any finger grease on it, so I'm just going to use one of these. No, I'm not. I'm going to use my fingers because that's scratching the paint. Yeah. See, that stuff's pretty cool, ain't it? Sorry, I didn't have you in frame. Jeez, oh Pete's, you missed out on the fun stuff. Peeling these boogers off. Okay. So, as you can see, we've got a dark orange, a light brown, kind of, that chartreuse. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get it hooked back up on here. I'm going to hit it with one of the most important colors, and I didn't have it for a while until, I don't know, a while back, but if you're doing any sort of airbrush painting on lures or baits, detail sepia. Sepia. Either way, this color is fantastic. I'm going to load it up with the brush, and I'll show you what we're doing with it. All right, detail sepia loaded in the brush. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go really light anywhere there's stripes and fairly heavy everywhere else. As you can see, it just takes and darkens everything up nicely, gives it its own special color. So you can still see the yellows, oranges, and the faint line of well, kind of like a dark border on that. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. That's kind of looking buggy. Kind of bug-like. And yeah, my rings weren't perfect. They weren't going to be. But I just like to attempt these things. I don't think a fish is going to care. If I were going to be selling these things, I might give a crap more, but I don't. I'm doing it for myself. So we will see how that turns out once we give it a clear coat. I'll put a resin finish on it, some eyeballs, and attach the wings. And it should be, I'm going to call it done. I don't think I want to change anything about it. I want it to stay very subdued looking, very bug-like. Because cicadas, there's some are just colorful as all get out, but for the most part, they're just kind of an ugly brown and got the abdominal stripes on a lot of them, and then the red eyes. So I do have some red eyes we'll poke on there, and I'll get back to you. So I am putting the wings back on. Try not to torque it down too tight. Remember exactly how it was put on. See if I can't scratch the paint job up a little. It has to go another twist or two. Yeah. There's our little cicada. Can't even hold it. Got the modeling around the front end. Got the butt, thorax, whatever you want to call it. I did get some bubbles there, unfortunately. But I don't think the fish will care. So let's get some hooks on it and see what it looks like. Other than that, looking at a finished product here. Okay, so there she is. Finished product with hooks. Put a number 3 swivel on, or swivel, number 3 ring, and a number 6 hook. Seemed to be, I don't know, just felt like that's what would work best for this. So I'm pretty happy with it, and I think we're gonna have to fish that thing. Side note, while I was playing with this, I was painting another one just for fun. I don't know. Kind of wanted to give it like a fiery streak or hot rod look. I don't know, but that's what I came up with. I'll fish it too. It's got a little smaller hooks. Still is actually a size 2 ring on that with number 6 hooks also. So why don't we try and go fishing with this? See what happens. Here, let's get this guy off camera. Maybe that'll be my little thumbnail shot. Little cicada. Here we are at the local fishing hole. We'll give it a try. First cast. That thing tugs. Luck continues to be poor with crawler baits. It's always my luck, and here comes the train. Yeah, I think we're gonna call this unsuccessful on the walker bait for now. Maybe closer to midsummer, we'll give it another try. But for now, I think we're gonna switch it up to different bait, and maybe that'll be a different time and video. Either way, don't like, don't subscribe. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. But thanks for watching.
I'm actually your daughter, so that kind of doesn't work.
Yes, you better listen to me.